4 years ago, I found this Kombi in the Arizona desert and I began the resurrection and van build to what it is today. And obviously at the time when you start a project like that, a van build, you think you know what you want, but it's really only now, after 4 years of living in this vehicle and traveling in this vehicle, that I really know what was a success and what was a failure. So let's have a look at what worked and what really didn't work at all. This video is actually going to be very useful for anyone that's got a van or is thinking about doing a van build, and I'll link all of the useful resources down in the description below. Please know that none of that stuff is sponsored. First fail, up here. Ow! It's actually the headroom. When I first bought this van, I was very keen to have a high top after having lived in a tin top van for 5 years with no standing room at all. So I was very excited about having this standing room, and I could stand up in the van initially. However, I have since put insulation and the necessary air gap above my head and the insulation and a floor below me, and I've lost the necessary headroom. And so now if I stand up straight in this van, it's like that, and that makes me very sad. I'm still happy that I've got some standing room, but I do have to stand with my legs spread out, and it does cause me a pain in my neck frequently. It's actually very uncomfortable for me to be in this Kombi. It's exactly the wrong height for me. I'm 6 foot, and yes, it's painful, it's annoying, and I wish I had more headroom. Another fail was the hanging basket that I used to have here. It was basically, when we started, we had a hammock, a material hammock, and it didn't last at all. Absolute piece of crap. What did work was the metal basket that replaced it. It's actually worked out really well for us, and I've really enjoyed having it. And only very rarely, on the bumpiest of roads, do the bananas go flying. Another great success is the climate control. From the insulation through to the reflective foil magnetic blinds. That's actually not for that window, but it just sticks up. Very easy. That was a huge success in the build. Definitely recommend that. I'm always banging on about my magnetic blinds because it makes a big difference to how comfortable you are and the privacy and everything. Recommend it. Thermal insulated magnetic blinds. If you're lucky, you can buy them pre-made for your vehicle. If you're unlucky, you'll have to go about making them yourself. Another success is these sliding door catches. These have been a game changer. They have fixed everything. These sliding door catches are actually the only ones I'd recommend now. Big success. What wasn't a success was all of the other kinds of catches that I tried beforehand. They will work for the lightest weight doors, but they will not work for anything that's heavy, or if your drawers are heavy, or if you've got a lot of stuff in the drawers. You just no. Great in house, just not in a moving vehicle. Get the ones I recommended here, save yourself some time. Also in the fail category, my tilting solar panels. They actually work really well, and they do tilt, and everything's great about them, but I have to put it as a fail because after 4 years I still haven't built a proper system to secure the solar panels. I'd still use my skateboard or some other stick that I've got handy, which is not good if it's windy, so I'm going to put that as a fail on myself. If you're in Europe or North America or somewhere where it's not that sunny, from October to April, definitely tiltable solar panels, yes, but be more successful than me. Another absolutely massive success was the installation of my electrical system. I'm so happy that I put the time and energy into building a proper electrical system. It has been an absolute game changer. I do mention it occasionally how good it is, but it really is. After 4 years, I can say my Battleborn batteries have been a really great success. I'm really happy that I built my own system. It's exactly what I wanted, and it has the speed of recharge and the amount of capacity that you can have with lithium iron phosphate batteries. It's just an absolute game changer. Like, if you're going to spend any amount of investment in your vehicle, like, you've really got to be in the power system. It's a bit of a learning curve if you don't know how to do it, but I've got a guide on my website which basically gives you the whole diagram, a step-by-step guide on how to put it all together, and a big introduction to all of the different stuff, so you can actually get up to speed and get all of the knowledge that you need to build yourself a DIY off-grid power system in one place. That's on kombilife.com. I will link that below. Ready for another fail? That jerry can holder. I was quite excited about that when I first got it, but my gosh, what a fail. It has not held up well at all. The jerry can's fine, actually. The jerry can, it's got a bit of rust on it, but it's not too bad. But my days, the jerry can holder, it's like absolutely ruined. A huge success has been the swing out system. It was super expensive to custom fabricate for me, but just the convenience of being able to have all of the things you don't want to have in your vehicle stored on the back and have that swing out. If you're overlanding, a swing out system is absolutely brilliant. I would recommend it. Very happy with mine. Another success has been the engine. I absolutely love this engine. Now I know I recently shared a video where I had to take it out in a car park in France and had a horrific experience over about 48 hours of trying to MacGyver the shit out of that, but fortunately I came through that, and mostly that was self-inflicted and my own stupid fault for snapping a screwdriver in the cylinder. Yeah. But when you're not snapping screwdrivers inside your engine, it's been brilliant. It's been absolutely brilliant. I've had a lot of trouble. People that have been subscribed to this channel will know throughout the history of the channel, I've had so much trouble with my engine. But this one from CB Performance has been the strongest, most reliable, and best engine I've had by a country mile. So I'm very, very happy with that. I'm really stoked that those guys hooked me up with that engine and have been so supportive ever since, like with all of the stupid questions I have and everything. Really, really good. It's been amazing. And I even took it onto the Autobahn in Germany where there's no speed limits, just to see how fast it could go, way over what was recommended speed for this Kombi, but it did topped out at, what was it? Woo! I think we're stopping at 84 miles per hour. That's 130. Jesus Christ, that guy was fast. Damn, that guy was going fast. Another great success has been the hot shower, an absolutely brilliant game changer, an upgrade from the solar heated shower that I used to rely on, which was great for summer times in perfect conditions, but more often than not meant I was having cold showers everywhere. And to be honest with you guys, after a few years on the road, you get a little bit soft and you want some creature comfort, so hot water isn't too much to ask for. Very, very happy I put in an instant hot water system. Got a whole guide on the options available for hot water in your van on my website, also linked below. But yeah, that's been a huge success. What hasn't been a success is the lack of shower curtain. Now for me, I don't really care. I will wash my wanger anywhere, but the lady companions that I've travelled with have tended to object to the fact that there is no privacy. I do understand. I know that you can get pop-up shower tents, but then there's just wet and it lives inside your vehicle for ages and you've got to always put it up to dry so it doesn't get mouldy. It's a pain. Didn't do that. Also didn't have very many successful relationships, so maybe there's some correlation there. But I think I need to do something to get a shower curtain. If you're building a van and intending to travel with a fair lady, then I would recommend that you get yourself a shower curtain, or better yet, build the shower inside your vehicle. That would be a good option because, to be totally honest with you, it's not always warm. Even when the water's warm and it's blowing cold wind in the winter, it's still brutal having a shower outside, so think about that. On a similar note, another fail is not having a toilet. I basically have a shovel and that is the toilet for a number two. In any place that doesn't have a lot of visitors, if we're just in some wild place, and we go out and we will do that. Otherwise we'll find some public facilities, which is always easy to do and only occasionally inconvenient. That's fine. I totally don't mind that option personally. However, again, there's just some girls don't like to poop in the forest. That's all I'm saying, okay? So therefore it would be a good idea to build a toilet or have a toilet in your vehicle, a composting toilet or something like that. I put it as a fail because I don't really feel that I've catered to the other people that want to travel in my vehicle with me. I should really have more creature comforts to entice people out into the great outdoors with me on these wild adventures I like to go on. Toilet would definitely help with that. Another fail, window seals. The window seals haven't been that good, unfortunately. I really hope that they would have been, but they have leaked in various locations. It's still letting in water. That's annoying because it's caused some rust, and I spent a lot of time restoring the van when I was first putting it together so that I wouldn't have this problem that I previously had in Mexico. But it looks like I'm going to have that problem again and I'm going to have to restore some metal work. And it's leaking all the way along here too, so that's got to get sorted out, which is frustrating. So that is a fail. 4 years on from the build, time to look at that rust. Also another fail, mold. Mold grew everywhere. The second winter I left it uncovered in the wet Jersey winter environment. Mold grew everywhere and that was annoying and I had to clean it up. This winter I've been using these things. Absolutely flipping useless. Do you know what's much better? Is a electric 12 volt dehumidifier. This thing is absolutely brilliant. It's well worth having if you can leave your vehicle supplied with electricity over winter, or you just want to have it on when it's really raining hard, it's definitely worth having a dehumidifier inside your vehicle. If you have to leave it outside, it does make a big difference. I'm glad I got it. I actually got two. Another fail is the Max fan up there. I really like the Max fan because you could have the roof open in the rain, and you could even drive with it open and nothing, like, it was no problems. All of that's great, and it did work really well, but it gets so much mold up there. I guess that's not the Max fan's fault, but it's really difficult to clean. You've got to like literally take the whole thing off and apart and clean it, and that's basically an annual job. It's a pain in the butt, and I've had to buy a new digital pad for it as well, and all of that's fine, and those things happen. The reason I'm putting it as a fail is because of Max fan, the company themselves. They gave me absolutely zero support, and it was very difficult to find the right numbers, part numbers that I needed for that product, so fail. But a success is the ventilation on the other end, the passive ventilation. They're really good. I've talked about it before. They've got a little mosquito mesh on one side. They're very rigid and strong, so they can be left open. If you leave the vehicle, it's secure. Really good purchase. They were a success. I wouldn't leave home without them. They make a big difference about keeping the condensation down when you are traveling, and when you're breathing inside the vehicle. You can probably see how steamy it is because I've been talking so much the last few minutes, and I don't have those vents up, but it would make a difference if I did have them up. They're good. Get them for your vehicle. Another success, the tyre swap I did on the build, that worked out really well. I really liked the knobbly BF Goodrich tyres that I had, the off-road ones. I drove all the way across America with them, loved them. They looked badass, they looked absolutely amazing, but damn were they noisy and just not practical. And honestly, like, guys, we've got to leave our ego behind. I go off-road all the time in this vehicle, but all the time I still don't need these big mud tyres that look like I'm driving an off-road truck. That's just, it's not, I'm not going to those places in my camper van. Like, I've been off-road, I've been in mud, I've been like in the desert in Morocco, I've been lots of places, and guess what? My all-terrain Michelin tyres work brilliantly. In all of those situations, I never had an issue with traction. They're quieter, they work better in the wet, and I managed to leave my ego at home and put the knobbly tyres aside. As much as I do miss the look, because they look cool, just the all-terrain kind of almost standard van tyres worked even better. Alright, some more rapid fire fails. CV boots, they break every year. They're absolutely rubbish. The rubber just always dies. It's annoying. I've got new ones, I've got the best quality ones I could find. They still break. Every time I look under there, I'm going to find a petrol leak and a broken CV boot. Definitely a fail. As well as pest control. I do have a pretty good mosquito net which I use with my magnetic hooks. That's all been successful, but the fail part of it is I haven't got something for the doors so that I can have the doors open and flies not come in. If I'm in a place where there's a lot of flies, it can be annoying, and having some kind of magnetic thing that closes in the front of the door, like you see them, a lot of people have them in their Sprinters and other vans where they're purpose made and you can buy the product. You can't do that for a Kombi, unfortunately, otherwise I'd have one. Get that for your van. If you're going to go anywhere in the summertime, it's likely to be flies. It's nice to be able to keep them outside because flies go off. Gore-Tex shoes. Ugh. I've had various kinds of Solomon shoes, not sponsored. Just brilliant. Gore-Tex shoes for van life, game changer. Honestly, if anyone's coming into this van for a long period of time, I'm like, if you bring in your Gore-Tex shoes, if you got some, go get some. You can't have loads of shoes. No one likes standing in a puddle and then having to like try to dry their shoe out, and where do you store it, and you've got wet shoes everywhere. Gore-Tex shoes can get as wet as they like. They're not wet on the inside. Doesn't bother you at all. Gore-Tex shoes, definitely a success. Another fail, guest sleeping. I've absolutely failed with guest sleeping. I tried to sling up a hammock in here, that didn't work. Sometimes when you have a high top, people will have a bed up there. I don't, I have storage, so I didn't build anything up there. I really designed this van for 2 people. The bed's too small for 3 people. I used to sleep with loads of people in the van. That was great, but this bed is only for 2 people. And when you have a guest coming to see you, I don't have anywhere for them to sleep. So I usually say, bring a tent with you if you're going to come, because you're going to be sleeping outside. But it is useful to be able to have guests sleeping in your vehicle. I know you might think that they might not want to come out and see you, but people, when you're off somewhere traveling somewhere nice, you'd be amazed how many friends come out of the woodwork saying, can I come visit? So having somewhere for people to sleep. The moment, the best thing I've got is on the floor down here, which is not terrible, but I could do with something better. And if you were designing a van now, it is useful to think about, like, how can I incorporate some guests sleeping in there? Because sometimes, like, even if someone's traveling with you and they're going to be in a tent outside, which is often the case, if you're doing like a long journey or you just want to get some sleep quickly, it's nice to be able to just like lie down on the floor or lie down inside the vehicle. So guest sleeping, definitely worth doing. A fail for me. Also, I'm going to put Wi-Fi in the fail category because I don't think that I've really succeeded very well so far with the Wi-Fi. I've been relying on a MiFi device which has been inadequate, hasn't given me good reception and shuts down all the time when I'm in hot climates, and it just can't keep up with the hot temperatures, especially if it's like a couple of people working full-time online. Like, definitely it can't handle it. Good news is I'm in the process of upgrading my Wi-Fi, so stay tuned for that because it's going to be sick. Plenty more successes, but I'll give you 3 more. 1, the roof rack. It's been brilliant. I just bought aluminium extrusions and I custom made all of the brackets that go on there. It's very lightweight, it's very minimalistic, and I like the way that it looks on the Kombi, and it allows me to have 2 full rigid panels up there, and I could also put other things up there if I wanted to. I can have my surfboards on the side. The whole roof rack system, all that design was a winner. Definitely like that rather than the bars that come down to the gutter, because I've had that previously on another van, and when you start loading up the roof rack, it can actually affect the gutter, and the gutter on the bumpy roads, the gutter can just like rip off the vehicle. So yeah, definitely happy with how this roof rack system has worked out. Another success is the petrol heater. Love the petrol heater. It's been so good. It's been an absolute game changer. Like, honestly, that's one thing to keep people happy in the Kombi. If you're going to go out in the shoulder season, or you're going to go up to high altitude, it's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to be motivated with life if you've gone to sleep cold, you've been cold all night, and you wake up cold, and there's no chance of you getting warm anytime soon. A cup of tea will only take you so far. Having a petrol heater just allows me to like turn it. I've got the fuel source already in my main petrol tank, so it's been a really good, useful one. I've got the Webasto Airtop 2000, I think it's called. It's a good heater. If I was you, I'd get one of the cheaper ones. I've actually got a recommendation on all the different heater options for van life as well. I've got an article on the website. I'll link it below if you need a heater for your van, because yeah, there's some really good options and they're quite inexpensive. And probably one of the biggest successes is the water system. I talk about this a lot too, so I won't go into in details, but the things I really liked about it was the fact that I separated the water systems from the shower and dishes washing. It has 1 tank, and my drinking water has another. It allows me to only source the best quality water that I can for my drinking water, and to not worry so much about the other water because I'm not having to ingest it. I've also got the Akuva UV filter system, which means I can drink like a little bit more sus water. That's been really good. The whole water setup, I've got another video on, which is definitely worth watching. If you're building a van, you should definitely consider some of the steps that I've taken in the approach to designing this water system. I'm very happy with that. All up, I think it's been an absolute success. I'm so happy that I built the van. It's been a really good project, and if you're considering building a van too, you're going to really enjoy the project, the challenge, and it's a really fun thing to put your time into, and then to you know, enjoy afterwards with your travels, with making memories with your family and your loved ones. I couldn't recommend it more highly. Remember, I've linked all the videos below, and if you want to see our travel series about how we found this V-dub in the Arizona desert and then restored it and did the whole van build and everything, I will link that on the screen somewhere around here as well, because that is definitely worth a watch. All right guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy travels.